Which Game First, where we explore the hilariously huge world of board games. Did we find any hidden treasures you've been missing out on? Let's find out. First up this week, we flip and slide tiles to make perfect combinations in Shifting Stones. Next up, we add light and color to a black and white world in Glow. And lastly, we square off head to head in a battle between archaeologists in Lost Cities. I'm your host, Celeste Angelis, here with my decades-long gaming buddies, Evan Bernstein.
Hi, everyone.
Ed Povolitis.
Hi, guys.
And Mike Grenier.
Squee!
I haven't said that in a while.
You haven't? Our first game up this week is Shifting Stones, designed by J. Evan Raitt, published by Gamewright in 2020. Number of players 1 to 5, ages 8 and up. Playtime 20 minutes. Okay, Mikey, tell us what's in the box.
The cover of the box shows an array of colorful carved stone blocks with mysterious icons, seemingly ready to swap and shift positions. Inside the box, we find 9 stone tiles. One of them is yellow, 2 are orange, 3 are purple, and 3 are white with varying symbols on them. 72 pattern cards and 5 reference cards, and that's what's in the box.
Well, before we tell you if a shifting stone gathers no moss, Evan, give us a quick read of the rules.
In Shifting Stones, 9 mystical tiles lie before you in a grid of rocky ruins. So a grid meaning 3 by 3. The goal is to rearrange the tiles to match one or more of the patterns in your hand of pattern cards. Tiles can be flipped to reveal a new color, or the tiles can be moved to change their positions on the grid. The catch is that you must sacrifice a card every time you swap or flip. The first player to 10 points is the winner, so carve out the most points, and your victory will be set in stone.
Well, we played this on Board Game Arena. Mm-hmm. How did you guys like the look of it? A lot of color in this game.
Yeah, there was a lot of color, but some of the colors were kind of close to each other. So when you're looking at it online, there's like a purple and a pink. You know, those are always a little tough to like tell the difference. And a green and a blue, which is like a soft blue and a light green. So, you know,
I didn't think that they were that close to each other. I didn't really confuse them. They seemed okay to me. But some people see colors in different ways, so I totally get that. Not everyone's eyes are the same.
For me, what I liked it that they looked like stone carving, like somebody actually chiseled out the little parts of it.
Well, they looked chiseled, but they also looked like candy. The colors were candy-like, and like you know, and those kind of shapes and like I don't know the edges. I don't know. It just reminded me of some kind of like chewy like candy.
That's not usually your domain. That's usually Evan that says
exactly.
Like,
what do you think, Evan?
It's usually Evan that wants to eat the pieces. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although we played the game online, from what I've seen of the actual physical game, is that those stone surfaces of those cards are raised or embossed, so they have texture to them. They're very cool.
Yeah, you don't get to feel them in online on board.
Yeah.
No, we
Not
don't
yet.
get the touch and feel. Boo.
Work on that technology. Put on the haptic glove, you know, and start feeling the meeples
I can't
and stuff.
wait.
Can flip the tiles.
It's gonna be so cool.
Yep.
No, maybe the deluxe version is actual stone tile.
It makes a noise when you slide them.
Those Indiana Jones noises when Rock moves
yes,
around.
exactly.
You know, totally
Tomb
studio.
Raider.
So the playtime says it's 20 minutes. So did it feel like 20 for you guys?
Well,
yeah.
it wasn't super
Pretty
long.
quick
It felt like about 20, right?
Yeah, it was. Did we play it twice? I don't know if we played it twice.
No, I can't remember, but I think
Sometimes we
we might have.
get
I
through-
think that there was some pretty quick plays here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it definitely, the time holds up, Celeste. You don't have to, this is one of these games where box says 20 minutes, but it took which game first? An hour and 30 minutes to play.
sure.
How did you like it? How did you like placing those tiles? Was it really frustrating or was it fun? Was it relaxing? Sometimes these tile games are really relaxing, like Lanterns. I really enjoy just placing it. What kind of a feel is it for this game?
I
Is it
think,
or
I think it's a mix because
mix, yeah.
You're waiting for your turn, and you're seeing other people manipulate the stones. So sometimes it's, yes, you just put that in the right spot for me. Mwah. And other times, like, no, that was perfect. Ah.
Yeah.
Everything's ruined.
Yep.
Yeah, you have like some cards that are worth like I think 6 points, which is a lot in this game.
Yeah.
And but it relies on a very specific pattern, you know what I mean? Like blue, purple, green, red or something like that in each of the corners, or like, and it'll be just about set up. You're like, if somebody moves any tile but this tile right here, I'm going to be able to get it on my turn. And, to me, that seems to happen all the time.
And Evan, you said the changes happen fast.
They do happen fast. This is definitely one of those games where you need some plan B's, C, D, and E in a way. It comes down to the patterns that you're holding in your hand of cards. You want to have a nice variety. You want to make sure you don't. I think do you always draw up to 4? I can't recall. But,
I think you always draw back up, and they're a resource as well.
They are, and they are a resource. But the more you have in your hand, the more patterns you have. And that gives you more opportunities to make those scores. So you don't want to run down too thin in your hand, because that'll limit your opportunities for scoring. Yeah. And to kind of echo what Ed and Mike both said, yeah, it's I don't call it anxiety, but the excitement of the game is seeing if the stones that are in front of you, which you have as your pattern in your hand, will last long enough till the turn gets to you that you can make the play. More often than not, that does not happen.
Yeah, and there's a little bit you can do on your turn to like change your fate. You know what I mean? You could throw stuff away to switch up some things. So having a good variety, like Evan said, is important. But sometimes you get lucky and somebody will move something at the end of their turn, which puts your hand exactly where it needs to be. Like something you can score right out of your hand that somebody else had no idea about.
That happened to me at least once, yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's nice.
It's great, too.
Fun surprise.
Yeah, it is a nice, happy surprise. It's cool. There's only 9 tiles, and they're always the same for every game that you play. But the different patterns that you're drawing out of the deck make the game really different each time. Mm-hmm. So it's very cool that they did that way.
All right, so agony and ecstasy. We've got
Yes.
that going on. The rules are simple, easy to pick up, Evan?
Very, very. Yeah, there's really not much to this game, which in a way makes it elegant. Because the fewer rules you have to learn about a game in order to play it, that just means it's accessible to that many more people. It's a family. I put it in the class of family, like a Friday night game with family.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, there's no timing issues, no rules that cross over each other because there's very few things that you're trying to accomplish. You're just trying to match patterns.
Right. And the cards are your resources, so if you can't match the pattern, so it's like, well, I'll ditch this card so I can flip this one over, and then I'll toss this other one so I can shift it. Yes, I got it. Hot points.
Yep. And it's
a race. The first to 10 points win. So it's like, if you can go to that big 5-point card and get you over the finish line,
right? 5 points, one card, halfway there.
Boom.
Nice.
Yep, exactly. It's tough.
Okay, explorers, it's time to dig up or bury shifting stones. Evan?
Shifting stones. It's easy to learn. It's simple to play. It's casual. It's a light game. It's not the most dynamic game, obviously, but I can see it being played regularly by the family on Friday night, as I said. So why not? Dig it up.
Mike?
I thought it was simple, elegantly designed, easy to learn and teach. Pretty fun. I dig it up. Checks a lot of boxes.
How about you, Ed?
The tiles are fun to move and flip around, and I got points. Oh, more points. It does feel a bit random to me at times, though. But because it's so easy to play and it is fun, I'm going to dig this up for another go.
Well,
our spatial puzzle's your jam. Let us know. We are at Which Game First on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You know it.
Yeah, come see us.
Everywhere.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, let's take a minute here to talk about what's going on with Which Game First. What do you got, Evan?
Thursday night is Which Game First live broadcasting on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook as well. Can't recall if there's anywhere else, but that's where most people watch us, live on Thursday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We play a game, usually for the first time, at one of the online platforms, and we invite you to watch and comment, and we have trivia questions for you to participate in. Very interactive, very social, and we'd love for you to be there.
Yeah, we do hope you join us. And I want to just take a quick shout to thank our patrons. Thank you so much. You really, really make a difference to this podcast. You mean everything to getting this thing out the door every single week. It's all thanks to you, and thank you to our listeners in general. We deeply appreciate it. If any of you get a chance to give us a like, a rating, a review anywhere online, on your podcatcher, anywhere, that hugely, hugely helps us. And if you are interested in becoming a patron of this show, you can go to our website, click on Become a Patron today, and for that, you will get our semi-weekly, that's every other week, bi-weekly, because bi-weekly can mean every 2 weeks, or twice a week. It can mean either.
Semi-weekly.
But in this case, it means every other week you get a podcast that is just for patrons only, called
Bonus
Bonus
points.
points.
That means every other week we do a podcast just for you where we talk about whatever we feel like talking about. You get access to the entire back catalog if you become a patron, and some secret, very old episodes of Which Game First that you can only get by being a patron. They're really good episodes too.
They are.
They are. Okay. And that's it for now. Thanks so much for listening. On to the next game. Our next game up this week is Glow, designed by Cedric Chaboussi, published by Bombix in 2021. Number of players, 2 to 4, ages 10 and up. Playtime, 45 minutes. Okay, Mikey, tell us what's in the box.
The cover of the box depicts a beautiful sketchwork fox seemingly commanding several other semi-mythical fauna while summoning a raging storm. Inside the box we find a large board, a small board, 30 element dice, and 53 companion cards. And that's what's in the box.
Well, before we tell you if this game gets a glowing review,
Ah.
Evan, shine some light on the rules.
In Glow, you're an adventurer who builds their company by recruiting a new traveling companion each turn, trying to combine their powers as best as possible. You'll roll the dice to activate the advantages that your companions bring to you, or their disadvantages. Gather many slivers of light to dispel the darkness, restore the colors, travel the land to reach landmarks, and, of course, score points. That's what it's all about. In short, Glow is a card drafting, dice rolling, and combinations game. The box contains lots of colorful dice, as Mike explained. The game boards, all the components are there to have a great time. A little bit of luck goes a long way as well. After 8 rounds, the person with the most points is going to be the winner, obviously.
Yep.
Well, we all played this game on Board Game Arena. I know that Evan, Ed, and Mike played it on one of your Thursday night games, right, guys?
Evan did not play this.
Oh,
Evan
just
did
Ed and
not
Mike.
play it.
Okay.
You played it the last
Celeste.
I
You
did.
played
I
it
know.
with us.
I know. I played it. Did I
Yeah.
play it on a Thursday night?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Well,
You
then
did.
you guys can
It's
see
wild.
it.
Yeah.
You can see it on YouTube right now. I know I played it with
That's right.
at least with Mikey, because Mikey and I have been playing some games, just the two of us, so that I can catch up with you guys.
Yeah.
But this one we played on Thursday night, so everybody can catch it right now on YouTube. Okay, it's a black and white board with a little bit of color.
Just a bit.
What did you guys think of the overall look on Board Game Arena?
Nice. It reminded me of like a really good version of the kind of sketches that I would do when I'm like bored and I just have like lines next to each other, like a lot of line drawings, good saturation, but it looks like ink from a hand. And I really appreciate that with little tiny pops of color to like really bring everything home.
It's like high quality comic book art.
Yeah.
I think how I would describe it.
Yeah, the old-fashioned kind of art, like from
Right.
the Savage Sword of Conan in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Some really heavy inks. I
Yeah.
think when we were talking to our fans on Thursday night during the live stream, someone mentioned, it might have been me, Edward Gorey, who is an old, again, sketch artist from the 70s who used to do the opening for Mystery Theater
wow.
on PBS.
Mm-hmm.
So
Whoa.
there used to be. Do you guys
Flashback.
remember that old TV show called Mystery?
Mystery?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember
It was
that.
very
do.
scary sometimes.
Wow.
But Edward Gorey did the opening animations
Artwork.
for it.
Neat.
Yeah, and it is a very compelling art style. It's so bold, and
Yeah.
it really does set a mood.
Yeah.
And I think that mood is, gosh, I don't want to say dark.
No, it's more like I felt like mystical and like
Yeah.
soft,
I kind
but
of
like
got
yeah.
like adventure and mystery out of it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Really
go with that.
Good use of negative space on there too. Like the clouds
Mm-hmm.
are just a negative space, and there's this swirling. I don't know. I don't know if I can do it justice by describing it, but it's definitely worth looking
But
at.
that is our job. We're here
Yes.
on an audio podcast.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's an audio podcast with a video medium that I'm trying to describe. It's so tough. I just saying I don't feel qualified as an artist to really do it justice with my description. But
They
I
should have
really,
sent a poet.
Really appreciate it. Exactly. That's what I'm feeling right now. Exactly.
Well,
good, though.
okay. So the online play, Mikey, you had it
Mm-hmm.
left you with some questions.
Yeah, like when I was taking my action, I thought one thing was going to happen and something else kind of happened a couple times. You know, and because it's online, I really didn't get to see from point A to point B by rolling my dice and seeing what occurred. So I don't know. It left me
You
a
mean
little
the
confused.
automation was a little too efficient from Board Game Arena?
Yeah, maybe.
So that's a problem we've run into before with Board
Mm-hmm.
Game Arena. Sometimes when a game is a little complex, it can do too much of the housekeeping for you, so you don't quite know what's going on.
If you played
Yeah.
Carcassonne on
It's a
BGA,
testament to learning in the sense of because it's doing the housekeeping, sometimes you don't get a feel for what your actions are doing because it took care of the in-between steps.
Did you guys feel that way too? I mean, or was it just me?
I mean, I was always going for combos. It did probably take me a little bit of time to understand what all the dice were for and what sides were on the dice because you kind of have to hover over the dice in order to figure out what sides were possible on those dice. So
Yeah.
as simple as the game is, there is a bit of information in the digest because there's a few different symbols. Each die has some, other symbols on them, and you can get pulled. So you're like, okay, I get the red dice if I do that, and then I had this symbol here, and this card has the combo over here, and but this other card got the other combo in here. Can I use them together?
Yeah,
Evan,
for-
what did you think? Did you feel like you were confused by it doing too much for you?
I felt like I wish I was there to have played the game that night.
Remember?
That's right. I keep forgetting you went there. Well, I'll tell you what happened to me. I was so desperate trying to get to these locations, trying to get to the. Okay, so there are these golden diamonds on the board, right?
Oh, yeah, look at those
And you're like,
diamonds.
oh, there's so many points. There's so many points. I want to get all the way over to that 20 on the other side of
Yeah.
the board. I can do it. And then realizing, like halfway to that location, that it's a lot farther than you think. And that is what happened to me. I was just so desperate trying to get to these locations that I didn't even notice the housekeeping. I'm just like, gotta go. Why am I not there yet?
Yeah.
And the reason was just I didn't have the resources that I thought I had to use.
Wow.
Yeah, there's like a footprint resource that you have to kind of expend when you get there to actually land on the space.
Yes.
And you don't necessarily have that. And the dice, you really got to know what's on the dice because just because you're rolling red dice doesn't mean you're going to get fire, but the chances are just a little higher on those dice.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you
Yes,
have to saturate.
not a little. It felt like one of those dice felt like it was rolling the same thing every single time. I'm like, can it just roll anything other than a leaf?
I know. So,
I mean,
and
anything. I
Yeah.
could use anything. Oh, it's brutal. So sometimes I did feel a lot of
Except
pain.
for the time you needed the leaf. Then it rolled the other thing.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like, yeah, there was this one resource that I never ever needed and always got. And did
Yeah.
you guys feel that way? Is it just like a feeling you get?
Yeah, I think like at a certain point, I started just rolling whatever dice trying to get the symbol I wanted rather than looking for the more saturated die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, I started looking for more dice.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I did.
That makes sense because
Yeah, I
hoping.
think more dice was what I went for too. And plus, I was looking for power that gave me movement. Because you needed both the symbol to get past the obstacles and the feet to generate the movement points. So if you had both movement points and the ability to get past obstacles, you can move into that next room with the
Perfect.
victory point.
Yeah. I think to get back to Mike's point, though, I think that you've got an excellent point there, Mike. I think I fell into the trap. So this is a quick strategy tip. I think I fell into the trap of expecting the odds to always go in my favor based on the percentage, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it's a 60% what I want, let's say a raindrop, right? 60% water drop shot. Then why isn't it rolling water drop every single time?
But
Because you
also-
fall into that thinking, right? You're thinking, oh, 60%, it's going to roll.
And
Actually,
actually,
you got two of them, right?
well, so a side on a six-sider is only 16% ish, right, per side. And there was only two of the symbol you wanted on the more saturated die, so
Right,
you're
so
only
it's-
32%. The odds are still against what you're gonna ask for.
And it feels like, yeah, and I fell into this trap of like, why isn't it rolling this? It's got two of them.
Right, 2 out of 6, I should get it every time.
Right.
Exactly.
Not an unfair expectation. So
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That's very kind, Evan. Very kind.
Hey, look, it's positive thinking. You know, think.
Yeah, use the secret in games like this. Of
That's
course.
right.
Right. So, okay. So you can't use those odds. So what about cards, Mike? Using cards to help. How do they help?
Yeah, your companions are kind of deciding what you're going to be rolling each turn. And like I said, there are some that are really good. They give you lots of dice, but there's also a risk that they burn themselves out and you don't have them to use later on. And those ones were actually really good until they weren't. You know, because you're getting 3 dice off of some of them, but the downside is if you roll too many of a certain kind of symbol in that round, the card is gone after that. I think they're still worth it since the game is fairly short.
Right.
So,
Okay.
you know, yeah,
I
going for
think
the
it's only
high
8
dice.
rounds.
Totally
And I think
better.
the other thing you can do with it, this is what I enjoyed about the game. You can choose which companion to bring along with you. So you're kind of building your party. And if you have that guy who's high risk because, if I have too many fire, he'll burn himself out. But that's only if you have no other way of using fire. If you bring along another companion that can do something beneficial with fire, when you roll the fire, you can use it for the beneficial effect and say, I don't have any more fire to kill him with, so he doesn't die.
Sorry, I'm out of fire. It's my bad. And then also there's cards that let you flip a die to a different side or re-roll a die too, so that you can roll that big pile of dice and then, that's a little too much of that. Let me just, re-roll it or flip it. So getting stuff to manipulate and then filling your hand with lots of resources
Dice
and then deciding
manipulation
what to
is
do.
always great in a dice game.
I'll say this: it took a little bit of brain power to figure out how the cards worked. It was a little. The symbology wasn't the simplest thing in the world. So just to figure out how to turn it to your advantage, this is going to be a 2 or 3 times playthrough in order to really get it.
I feel like they might have sacrificed, on that note, I think they sacrificed a little bit of clarity for a little bit of beauty on the cards,
They're gorgeous.
They are.
And
I
one
love
thing
this
we
game.
didn't get to experience on BGA was really the backs of the cards, which are beautiful too. They're actually a really stark black with a faint gray symbol and then all the colors of the symbols around it, and it's really striking.
Oh, beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
striking, yeah.
Neat.
So, yeah, they are beautiful cards, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I think, almost worth it. The sacrifice, but yeah.
Okay, explorers, it's time to dig up or bury Glow. Ed?
The art brings you into a world where you want to explore, while the dice add a very random element into the game. The variety of companions you can select allow you different concepts you can explore. And for that reason, I'll dig this up for another journey.
Mike?
The art in this game was gorgeous. I think it would be better in person, getting to hold those cards and the big fistfuls of dice you'd be able to roll. I was a little lost in what seemed to be, it looked like simple rules at first, but I kind of didn't grasp all of them the first go around. But that's not going to, that won't deter me from giving this another shot, so I'll dig it up.
I will say that the look of this board and box is one of the few games that I've seen where I would really like to have it on my shelf just for the look of it. And it's one of those games that I'd like to have and put out on the table. So I too wish we had played it in person. Hint, hint, Ed, maybe go grab a copy of this.
Oh, someone's birthday is coming up. Maybe
I do also agree that I want to roll the dice. They're lovely dice, and I think that would really help to understand the game better. This is one of those games that I think in person would make the difference. I definitely would play it again. I am digging it up.
Nice.
So do you love black and white art? Or is full color the only way to go? No. We are at which game first?
Our last game up this week is Lost Cities, designed by Reiner Knizia.
Here we go.
By the way, shameless plug, Reiner Knizia, you can see him on our BoardGameDesignConference.com. Great conference. We put it out, it's a year
ago.
and change, or
Yeah.
just a year?
1 year and 1
just
month
about
ago.
a year ago. Reiner was our keynote. He was an excellent speaker.
So fun.
Yeah, so he was a lot of fun. And so many really great industry professionals talking about game design. So if you're interested in game design at all, from an artist standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, from a game design standpoint, great names from the industry at BoardGameDesignConference.com. For just $10, you can get the entire conference, access to all the videos. Really great stuff, guys. And it supports us and helps you become a better designer. Just learn about game design. BoardGameDesignConference.com. All right, published by Cosmos, 1999. Number of players 2, ages 10 and up. Playtime 30 minutes. Okay, Mikey, what's in the box? Dust it off.
The cover of the box shows 2 intrepid explorers headed to a bird-infested ruin using a crudely drawn picture as their only guide. And hey, they found the place. Congratulations. Inside the box, we find a game board, 60 cards, which consist of 45 expeditions, and 9 destinations, some number of destinations. If you do the math, you'll find that out. Sorry. I wrote it down weird. And that's what's in the box.
Well, before we tell you if Lost Cities was quite the find, Evan, these are good this week. I like these.
Quite the find.
They're good every week.
Quite the find.
Evan, unfold that simple map of the rules.
Right? All right, Lost Cities is a card game in which the object is to gain points by mounting profitable archaeological expeditions to the different sites represented by the colored suits of cards. On a player's turn, they must first play one card, either to an expedition or by discarding it to the color-appropriate discard pile, and then draw one card, either from the deck or from the top of a discarded pile. Cards played to expeditions must be in ascending order, but they need not be consecutive. Handshakes are considered lower than 2, and they represent investments in an expedition. Thus, if you play a red 4, you can play any other red card higher than 4 on a future turn, but you can't play the handshake, you can't play the 2, and you can't play the 3. It's pretty easy to follow. The game continues in that fashion, with players alternating turns until the final card is taken from the deck. The rest of the cards in hand are then discarded, and players score their expeditions. Each expedition that has at least one card played into it must be scored. Cards played into an expedition are worth their rank in points, and handshakes count as a multiplier against your final total. 1 handshake doubles an expedition's value. 2 handshakes triples the value, and 3 handshakes quadruples it. Wow. Hey, Mike, expeditions start at a value of negative 20. Thank you, Dr. Nesia.
Each one starts at negative 20.
Start in the hole. Negative 20. You must play at least 20 points of cards into an expedition in order to make a profit. All right, that's enough of the rules. Let's
Yeah,
get through it.
really. I feel like I could actually play with these rules.
You might be able to. That's basically
Yeah,
all of it.
that is like the entire rule book right there.
Oh my god.
All right, what program did you play this on? What internet?
Played this on Board Game Arena.
Board Game
You did.
Oh,
Arena.
I was hoping it was,
And it's a head-to-head game.
Yukata.de.
It sounds like it could be.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
might actually be able to find it there too.
Oh, we should try that. We got to
I
get back
mean,
to Yukata someday.
it's published in 1999.
Yeah, that's Yukata era. That is
Yeah.
Yukata era.
Totally
Prime
could
era.
be there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought for sure you guys had played it on that. Okay. So it is kind of retro looking. Did Board Game Arena do anything snazzy with it? How did it look?
Well, I think they were using the new updated graphics from the new printing. I think it's a 2016 printing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And how did it look?
Sorry.
They look nice.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I mean, the cards were just a location, there wasn't really action on the cards. It's just like a scenery for each
So
set.
a landscape.
Yeah,
Basically.
landscapey kind of thing,
Yeah.
It was fine.
We have
I
like
mean,
little rooms that look like what was that structure there? How old is that? What was that
Yeah.
used for? I mean, there's a little bit there. Granted, the theme is not super thick here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with a number on the corner of each card being one of the only things you need to pay attention to,
Yeah. So that does beg the question. I mean, does it just feel like number stacking with a skin?
The interaction's a little bit better than that, I'd say, because you're kind of deciding what other people might have in their hand. You know what I mean? You don't want to throw something down or throw something away that they can use. So you're kind of playing a little cat and mouse with people and trying to call their bluffs and stuff like that. So
Did you
There's
feel
something.
like you were tricking Ed? Did you feel like or did you feel like Ed was hiding information? How did it feel? Did it feel like
Ed
a
always
cat and
hides
mouse?
information.
Well, yeah, that's true. Ed hides pretty much everything.
Well, there was kind of stuff you could do in the game to delay the game a little bit to force somebody to make a choice, because once you make a choice about going into one of the expeditions, you start at negative 20. If you don't go in there at all with your cards, you're okay for a moment. You know what I mean? You don't get any negative points for not going into an expedition at all.
Okay.
It's not worth anything, but you don't start at negative 20.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not worth 0. It's
You're in the
worth
hole.
0
As
instead
soon
of
as you
negative
put
20.
one card in that color up,
Right.
you got negative 20 points of skin in the game, as it were.
Yep. Yeah, so once you see somebody play a low card in one suit, you might have 2 medium cards in that suit, but you're going to go, you know what? If they took the risk to play that suit, they probably have something to back it up, and I'm not going to get any of the stuff I need. And if you draw the early cards after you draw the late cards,
Yeah.
you can't play them anymore. They're
So
garbage.
does it feel like just rotten luck? Or
Yeah, some of it is oh my god, if this card had come up 12 cards ago, I would have been fine.
Oh, there's that card.
Yeah, there's that.
Love when that happens.
There's a little bit of that, and it is a bit of I would almost say chicken. In
Yeah,
the sense
definitely
of,
chicken. Yeah.
you're holding on to cards and they're clogging your hand because you can't play them yet.
because you don't want to give them to the other guy?
Right.
That's another thing,
Exactly.
too,
Like,
yeah.
I can put this down and discard it and make room for something else because I can't make use of this card. The problem is
He'll
Mikey
pick it right up.
can. And I don't want to make it Mikey access
Right.
to this card.
That's shades
in
of,
my deck
gin.
instead,
That's a
I'll
gin
throw something else
mechanism.
out.
Shades
If
of
I'm-
gin rummy, Evan. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, and if I'm holding the 9 and the 10 in that suit, that's 19 points. It's still not 20. I'm
Right.
still going to lose
Yeah.
a point for that, even by playing both
brutal.
of those. So you're waiting for anything lower than that to come up first, and sometimes somebody
gosh.
else is waiting for the same thing in the same suit.
Like,
You
because
just
they don't
know.
have the 9 and 10. They're like, well,
Yeah, they're
do I
worried.
start this thing, even though I have the 2 and the 3, but I don't know that I'm going to get the point necessary to make that a worthwhile
Right?
investment.
Yeah, they're
so.
holding 2, 3, 6, and they're like, I don't want to. I don't want to play 2 and 3 and then hope 4, 5. You don't have to play all of them, but still,
That's right.
You need them to equal at least 20 to break even.
But I'll say one thing: you get one of those handshakes, you're like, wow. Now all I have
so
to,
risky.
It'll double my points.
Yeah.
Let me wait for a second handshake. That'll triple my points.
But if you have 2 handshakes and nothing else, you're like, I could play 2 handshakes and anything will be good, and nothing comes up. Well, it triples the negative 20.
So it gives you a false sense of confidence?
It gives you hope.
It gives you hope, which
False
is
sense
the
of
most
hope.
dangerous
Okay.
thing you can have in this
Kind
game.
of false hope, but yeah.
False hope, right.
Yeah, you can get negative triple 20. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
If you just play 2 handshakes,
That
and
is
don't
so
have anything.
painful. That kind of happened to me. So I was like, I had
It happened to
2 of
Ed.
those,
Oh, it
and,
did? Oh,
Yeah.
the
no.
best I got was a -10. I was like, oh, -10. Up doubled.
Yikes.
So
Yeah.
what was the winning score? Like -4 or something?
No. It was
I ended up with a
fairly
pretty
high.
good
You're
score,
still in the
yeah.
positives? Okay.
Did you do the 3 rounds of this? But I think there was one round. I didn't go negative, but it was low. It was like,
Yeah.
like one round, my net score was like 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 points in the first round. I think.
Yikes.
I ended up doing pretty well. I think I won this game. I can't remember, but I did well
did.
by delaying, because you can pick up people's discards and then you can just
Yeah.
discard them later too. So you keep cycling through there rather than the deck, and the game kind of prolongs. And you can wait for people to give up on something they've been holding on to and then snag it when they finally drop it. You know?
See what?
Yeah.
I kind of recall it that though, because I tanked it in the second round a little bit. Mikey did something uncharacteristic. He went conservative on the 3rd round.
I did, which is very rare for me. But I was like so far ahead at that point. I'm like, I just need to not get a bunch of negative 20s, and I don't think they'll be able to catch up. So I
And
kind of,
because you were playing conservative, I was starting to get a few points, and you're getting a little concerned.
I was getting
I might
nervous.
sneak it out.
yep, yeah, it's a weird game when Ed's the wild one and I'm the conservative one in that game.
Roll
Well, with a
reversal.
double handshake, he had to be desperate.
Oh, dude, I played a couple double handshakes and it paid off, but it's scary because you
Well-
don't.
Do you think if this game were designed today, it would start with negative points? I mean, what is the point of that?
I think that
Well,
this
the-
game needs them. It wouldn't
Whoa.
be the same without them. I know. Don't. My
Mikey.
fans will be very surprised to hear me say that. I think this game needs that level of risk. I mean, maybe there would be some other way to put the risk in there, but dropping 2 doublers and then getting negative 60 points is risky. So I think the game needs that level of risk because it also has that level of reward to counter it.
I agree with Mikey there. I think it adds that excitement to like, okay, I'm in it to win it now.
Yep. I'm going for this one right here, and that's it.
Let's face it,
Focused.
there's a psychological consequence to scoring things in the negative. There just is.
Yeah.
So there is a little psychology at work here.
Yeah, in Magic the Gathering, they call that feels bad. It's like they squish it into one word. Like, oh, that has a real feels bad vibe.
I like it.
Yep.
Okay, explorers, it's time to dig up or bury lost cities. Mike?
The game had decent art, I thought, and a little bit of grief to give your opponents. It's a set collection game that lets you jab your buddies a bit, and I think that's worth it. So I'll say dig it up.
Ed?
Well, I will admit that it's not a particularly thematic game. The art is very nice and offers an enjoyable race for the points that is easy to learn, quick to play, so I'm going to dig up this classic. So, what is enough theme for your strategy game? On a scale of checkers to Twilight Imperium. Let us know. We are at which game first. And
And that brings us to the end of our show. We look forward to hearing about all the game exploring you're doing. Please reach out to us anywhere. We're on Instagram, we're on Discord, and if you become a patron of this show, you will not only get access to our exclusive patron-only Discord channel, you will get our patron-only podcast released every other week called...
Bonus
points.
bye.
All right, guys, thank you so much. If you get a chance, please leave us a like, a rating, a review, a shout out anywhere. Mention us to your buddies down at the basketball court. It really helps others find the show. It really helps us grow. Happy, happy gaming explorers.
Hey, Ed, where's the Lost City and what's it behind?
Oh, the Lost City is behind that glow you see behind the shifting sand zone. Yeah.
Onward, adventurers. Cool.